So welcome to the Interjections podcast, where we go over the hidden gems and not so hidden gems of the 1990s, because none of us were alive long enough to actually see them in the theaters. So we've just been going back and forth. We are on to 1991. I believe we're in August 1991. And today we're going to be talking about what I have quickly realized is one of the greatest bromance features in the history of cinema, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which was never, they had to put a disclaimer in the front because it doesn't have
not endorsed by either company.
Yeah.
Code names.
Or nicknames, which is really weird.
I didn't realize.
But the
that
Don
they weren't the
Johnson
only,
character has an actual name.
Yeah.
He's given an actual name.
Yeah.
The Mickey Rourke character, he's only known as Harley Davidson the whole time through.
So
I think Marlboro Man said his name a couple times, right? Or was it the other way around?
Other way around.
But he kept saying call him Marlboro or Harley.
Well, it's interesting because, like, all right. So here's the gist.
Before we get into all that,
You got these two I don't want to small-time criminals, but they're just like they're
They're rogues.
They're
They're living their lives. They're going their own paths, but like they're not exactly crooks. They're just
I was gonna say it's not established early on that they used to be criminals. It's just like he's thinking about a bank robbery. I'm like, have they done this before?
They're two good guys in a bad situation.
Yeah,
of course.
There it is.
Theme of all of this.
They're on a mission from God.
Right.
Yeah.
But the difference is they're not trying to save a church. They're trying to save a bar is a bar/orphanage.
That is abruptly destroyed.
Yeah, it's in so it's your typical like let's rob a bank to save the orphanage type thing, only the orphanage is a
dive bar.
Yeah.
And that they've frequented supposedly in their youth. Obviously, they've known each other since before all of this, but that's not immediately established at the beginning. But neither of them calls each other by their real name. You know, you got Don Johnson plays the Marlboro Man because he looks like and dresses like a cowboy. But the funny thing is he doesn't smoke at the beginning.
He just has a cigarette in his mouth all the time because, like,
Yeah, he says he doesn't light it.
yeah,
it's like a nervous tick. So later on in the movie when, shit hits the fan and he's just like, I need a light.
yeah.
This is not Fault in Our Stars.
It's like things are bad now. I need to smoke.
And then Mickey Rourke's character is just known as Harley Davidson because that's what he rides around. He's like the motorcycle guy. He doesn't drink. And for the life of me, I had no idea that was Mickey Rourke when we watched.
Really?
I thought because I didn't read the credits or anything before we watched the movie. And when you first see him, I was like, "Is that Kiefer Sutherland?" Like it was like
We thought Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I knew who it was though.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner. I
thought
did.
it was Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Well, because
We were talking about it before. We think he's like a mix between the three in this film. Like his hair's a little bit like Costner in Warworld.
You know what's weird? The way he was talking, he sounded like Marlon Brando in The Wild One. He got like this really affected whisper.
Mm-hmm.
That's very mannered.
Yeah.
And,
I actually think he's doing a good job. It's kind of a shame.
Boy, I don't.
He semi-retires after this.
His voice, like the way he used his voice, like you also contributed to not recognizing him immediately.
yeah, he was definitely like, an early version of Mickey Rourke. Like,
Well, I never saw any of his 80s things.
I
didn't know him other than after his boxing career where he gets punched a lot and loses his good looks.
Right.
So
my first introduction to Mickey Rourke though was Iron Man 2. So, that's where I'm coming from as far as knowing who he is.
I mean, that's a good starting point. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know who he was until everyone's like, wow, he's making a comeback with The Wrestler in Sin City. And I was like, who is this guy?
It's weird because what's weird? And it's a movie I should have watched at the time. I think the first movie I saw him in when I was a kid was Angel Heart, which has a really graphic sex scene with him and Lisa Bonet.
Mhm.
and De Niro plays the devil.
Mhm.
But I think that was like the first movie I saw him in. But he always had that very cavalier, kind of cool as a cucumber, unflappable demeanor about him. And he like, obviously, it's almost like a self-parody in this one. Like it opens up with him in bed with a woman. He just leaves her
Yeah.
to go for a ride on his Harley. This semi-clad woman, and what's the song that plays?
What was it?
Wanted Dead or
Like
Alive.
It was
Jovi?
Bon Jovi, right?
Yeah, it was,
Wanted Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Which I kept thinking, I was like, I'd rather be watching that movie.
Jeez.
All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of a
There's gonna be some disagreements here, Jeff.
Corey wasn't very excited about watching this.
I've
But
already
someone who had seen it before. So
cinematic discourse, baby.
yeah.
I will say that Don Johnson is doing better in the movie, but he's almost, it's weird. It reminds me of George Clooney in his early film career, where George Clooney, because of ER, would tilt his head forward because he used to read charts. So this became like a tick in all of his movies where his head was tilted forward. And this, Don Johnson likes to really arch those eyebrows. and
Yeah,
really
watch.
gestures.
His eyebrows are reaching new heights, and
yeah.
And I hate to tell the filmmakers, but this isn't David Mamet dialogue. So when he's doing that pool hall hustle, it's just cringe-inducing dialogue.
That was
I mean,
American poetry.
1991 too. I mean, come on.
Oh,
It's the other thing. It's supposed to be futuristic. It was
Yeah.
89 or 1990. It was released in 1991. Takes place in 1996.
Yeah. That's not far enough.
Yeah.
Which is why it starts off with like to set up a
the radio broadcast talking about that.
yeah, there's like radio broadcast talking about a new drug that's on the market, how it's like 100% addictive and it's like Crystal Dream. And I'm like, is this because I feel like Crystal Pepsi came out not far after that. I'm like, someone didn't do
Yeah.
but you know, and that's kind of what sets it up because part of the conflict is after they decide, okay, we're going to rob this bank because we're going to, you know, the bar that they grew up in has, you know, the bank gentrifying the neighborhood because they're putting in an airport. So they're basically like, the lease was $350 a month, raising it to like 200 or you know, $2.5 million just to
Yeah, like a ridiculous amount.
This-
Which
the
is
second movie in
illegal.
the second movie in a row where there's gentrification. Now it's white gentrification.
Oh, it's like there's a theme of that in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
I mean, gentrification and where they live in
It was LA.
was it LA?
It was LA. It might have been. Well, they go
Oh,
to
yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah, they go to Vegas. So yeah, that was,
Burbank.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because they made a big deal about Burbank Airport.
yeah.
Which honestly, is that a thing? Is Burbank an
I
airport?
don't know. I thought that's where the airport was, but I don't know LA
I
geography.
guess that makes sense because the studios are nearby, and I guess
Yeah,
a lot of I know the Tonight Show filmed from Burbank because
the
they went-
airport is further away from Burbank. I don't know
I
exactly
don't-
where, but I know it took a little bit of a drive. I went downtown, so
I don't know how much of a commentary it was supposed to be. Like if it was literally an airport that was exist. I'm literally looking this up right now because I'm
well, for East Coasters, we wouldn't know anything
Yeah.
from
Right.
you wouldn't know the geography.
it's
of
just
that.
a Hollywood Burbank airport. Okay, so
Yeah.
for commentary on they were adding in this airport. So this is what's going to go down if this happens. Your local bar that you grew up in is going to suddenly need to rob a bank to raise the money to stay in business.
Yeah.
And so they ominously decide to do it. And it's just it's going to be this team effort. And it's sort of just like, yeah, we're getting the band back together. We're going to go save the bar. And
This
This
is
is
something
something
important,
I
though.
wanted to mention. I didn't realize all of their names are product placement as well. Like we just mentioned, oh, well, they have the most generic names, Jimmy and Jose, two of the
Yeah.
other guys. It's Jose Cuervo is his name.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
and the girl that Don Johnson meets is Virginia Slim.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I just didn't think
Wait.
about it.
Yeah.
big
I
guy.
forgot something important.
What?
It starts off with the prerequisite liquor store robbery that he thwarts because that's in every 90s movie.
course.
Steven Seagal did it. Jean-Claude Van Damme does it. Arnold does it. And
Yeah.
he beats these guys up with such ease. Like they don't even try to put up an effort to suppress him at all.
Yeah.
You know, I hate when people come in here and just scum like this ruins a nice neighborhood like this.
Yeah. Just the typical, like, all right, here's the main character. He's the tough guy.
We
So-
got to establish that he's a ruffian and can take down anybody.
Yeah, and like
He
he
beats
beats
up
them
a guy
and took their
twice his
gun too. It was like, this is mine
Murdered
now.
them.
He beats up a guy twice his size when he gets to that one bar.
One of the other fast,
Just to show how much of a badass he is.
Right.
Exactly.
and he like comes in and he's like he starts punching up a Native American bar. Oh no, that's Mark, the one
Yeah,
who's
Marlboro did that.
you're the only cowboy in here, cowboy. Like that was a good line. I think I don't know. I liked it, but the you know the Barr family, which includes none other than Giancarlo Esposito,
Gus Fring.
went on to be Gus Fring and that dude in Revolution and one of the Sith Lords in The Mandalorian.
Sort of, yeah.
Who we had him in another film, right? Wasn't he in something recently? Was he in King of New York?
Thinks yeah,
Something we
Yeah.
saw.
we're seeing the beginning of Giancarlo Esposito's rise during all of this, which is gonna be fascinating. But yeah, and so they go and they actually pull off a pretty decent heist. You know, they dress as construction workers and direct the armored car and all this stuff.
I liked that scene a lot.
I thought they were
that was
dressed
kinda
like
clever.
village people.
Right, a little bit. That's probably where they, but they, so they do it, they rob it, but then like it's too easy. We're 20 minutes into the movie and they've robbed the bank.
Right.
What's gonna happen?
Complication.
And like the people that were driving the car are just like, no, you're gonna have to deal with our boss. Like they don't even care that they're about to get their asses handed to them because they know the backup's coming.
Or shot up. They're murdered.
Yeah, they die in a crossfire, and really, it's more of the supposed allies just indiscriminately shot at everybody in the opposite direction. So it wasn't really a crossfire. It was just like, we're just gonna shoot now.
Yeah.
And whoever dies. It's not our problem. Because it turns out,
That hey, you remember that drug we were talking about earlier?
yeah,
The bank is a front for that. And the armored car was full of just a ton of that stuff.
It's called Chekhov's gun. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh, you know what's fun? After Tristan and I saw it, I made the connection that like, what is this movie is supposed to take place in '96.
Yeah.
I think Cowboy Bebop comes out in like '96 or '98, and like the first,
98.
yeah, and the first episode of it, like they have like a guy doing drugs the way that they describe it in the movie.
And I think it's called
'Cause-
something similar. What was it? Crystal Dream, you said?
It's Crystal Dream and it goes right into your eyeball.
Like something dream in Cowboy Bebop. I meant to look
Oh,
that
you
up
mean the
too.
name of the
The
episode?
name, no,
Yeah.
the name of the drug. I thought
Oh.
it had a specific
I
name
don't
that was
remember.
similar. Either way, if they took inspiration from this, of all the things, that's actually a good idea. So
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of product placement, I love the if you look in the background, all the billboards and stuff, especially when they go to Vegas, you see the billboard for Die Hardest 5 and things like that.
yeah,
I mean, 4 years in the future, so like
it's
they were over projecting.
it's probably better than the real Die Hard 5. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
The fictional Die Hard 5.
Freedom Never Dies or whatever. I don't know.
No, it's the one with Boomerang.
Yeah, Jai Courtney.
Oh, that wasn't the one with Kevin Smith.
No, that's the
No,
fourth
that was
one.
the fourth one.
Oh, I
Still
guess-
okay.
I erased the fifth one from my brain then, I guess.
Please do.
I never saw it. I
It's
just pretend
awful.
it didn't happen.
But yeah, so then they obviously have now the resources of this mob bank after them, which for some reason they're dressed up like, proto Matrix trench coats that are allegedly made out of like lightweight Japanese Kevlar, but they just look like idiots running around in raincoats.
Yeah.
And so they're just hunted by those guys for the rest of the movie.
And the
And-
head
and
of
who-
which
Who's in that
is-
cast?
It's one of the Baldwins.
It's Daniel, the fat one,
Yeah.
not Alec, the talented one, not William, the good-looking one, and not Stephen, the religious one. That's how you differentiate the four.
Or Adam, the unrelated.
And not Haley, who wasn't around back then.
I feel like
Not
the Baldwins are like Andy Richter's character on Arrested Development.
I thought you were gonna say Quintuplets.
That's the thing. And in Arrested Development, he comes on. I think that's the one, but he comes on as like 5 different characters
Oh,
that are all like.
do you remember who the boss was?
I don't actually.
Tom
Tom
Sizemore.
Sizemore.
who
Where do
was
we know that name?
staple of the '90s. Do you remember Heat?
Sure.
Try Ryan.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah.
Also, Tom Hanks second in Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. I've seen about 7 minutes of that movie, so I think I was the 7 minutes.
Is it?
I
is it
think he was in there.
The beach landing. Is that what you saw?
Sure, it's whatever they keep replaying on D-Day.
Yeah. Yeah, he shows up right after that.
Sure, that's what it is.
He's the guy collecting dirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you remember that part, he's the guy collecting dirt.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Long before Captain Jack Sparrow, because
Jack Sparrow did
I got
that
a
too?
jar. I got a jar of dirt.
He did
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
I did not notice this weird dirt fetish that people in cinema.
Oh
have.
yeah, there's like stupid memes about it. Like
Because it looks cool, because you're picking it up and you're just like, I'm gonna examine this.
You know what's odd? This is the second movie.
Really came through here.
I
This is
didn't
the second
notice.
movie that we've examined from this director, by the way.
Yes, this is the first time we've had a repeat. I didn't realize until I was doing our little guide for this.
I had
Simon
forgotten
posted-
that.
Yeah, you must have said it and I just ignored it.
He did Quickly Down
do that
Under,
a lot.
Really?
another overrated movie.
This was way
No,
better.
no. Quigley was much better.
Mm.
They're about tantamount for me.
I actually like Harley Davidson. I do actually think this was a bit of a hidden gem because apparently this is one of the reasons Mickey Rourke was like, maybe I'll do boxing instead. It kind of
Done with
his
this.
career.
It took-
I understand, but like 30 years on, this is a fun little gem. It's not a waste of time, in my opinion.
that's the thing. I can see like going up against things like Die Hard and Terminator and all of that, like all of the real action movies that came out in the 90s. I can see why this would have been glossed over because it's not very,
It's not real action oriented.
it's not hyper violent. It's not like super
I
dark.
mean,
Like there's actual bits of like these guys are genuine friends, and and then you've got Don Johnson's character has his side piece who like is just an
He
inex-
gets into a high speed pursuit with her, and she pulls him over and just grabs his crotch.
She's-
I'm gonna ignore my shift and go fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so it was a weird little detour, but it also gave his character a bit more depth. And I feel like even though it's Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, I feel like a majority of who you find out about is Marlboro. And it's like there could have been a sequel where you learn more about Harley Davidson's past.
I
So
think they
could
were
we-
planning on a sequel, but this didn't do well. In fact, it wasn't even screened for critics because they were scared of what.
Yeah, okay. That's always a bad sign. I figure it didn't get marketed well. The only thing it was up against that was new was Dead Again, which was it was the drama from Kenneth Branagh, right?
So yeah, it's a great movie, but
But that's
I don't
not
think they
really,
market that.
yeah, it's not real competition. That could have snuck in and been a nice surprise in the middle of August.
It's weird. Vanessa Williams has like a cameo in this where she sings, and then
And I thought she'd have a bigger role. I saw her pop up and I'm like, oh, she's one of the crew's wives, disappears completely after the crew's gone and doesn't get
Right.
killed. She's just
Fortunately,
gone.
yeah, she survived.
She's a widow and loses her father and brother. No grief, no.
Yeah.
it's weird. Tia Carrere, same thing,
Yeah, that's true.
and she's in another movie that comes out this month that we'll talk about. But
They just kind of ignore the women, I think, in this movie because even Virginia Slim, she just kind of
Notice
say depth, but
the
she's
one
just kind of
bartender.
easy.
It's a movie about male bravado. Like the
Yeah.
women are just like
Speaking of which,
They're
the
just
one
objects.
bartender was Kelly Hu.
Right.
Yeah, in a cameo.
Yeah, it was cool to see Kelly Hu and Tia Carrere, but I don't think they had
They were given nothing to do.
anything.
I mean, which is fine because the movie wants to be centered around the two guys.
Yeah.
So, like Jeff said, it's a bromance. So we don't have time for these side characters. It's second bananas. I don't know if the movie is intending for Harley Davidson's character to be as stupid as he is, but some of his dialogue is so dim-witted, like his existential crises when he's on top of the boulder. He's like, "Man, I hope God's alive because it'd be really cool to hang out with him," you know.
Like
it
that.
And
shows
Don
that he's a
Johnson
chill
gives him the
dude.
most sincere
He's got a
look.
big
He's like,
heart, man.
yeah,
He's a sweetie.
He might not be the brightest
He's a
rock.
moron.
I feel like there was some real I feel like Ang Lee saw this movie and that's where he got the inspiration for Brokeback Mountain because it really got almost.
Yeah, maybe.
You think it's homoerotic in a way?
If it was made 10 years later,
I mean, it's a bromance. It's got to be a little bit.
if it had been made 10 years later, they would have ended up together in the end.
You know, Harley's waiting downstairs after Don gets up to, hang out with him. He's already making breakfast when Virginia gets up.
You know what's funny? I might as well bring this up now since we were just talking about Tia Carrere. Speaking of homoerotic buddy movies, she's in a movie that came out this month called Showdown Little Tokyo. Kind of similar, but it's Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee. And speaking of homoeroticism in that movie, there's a line of dialogue that's pretty infamous from that movie where Brandon Lee walks in on Dolph Lundgren having a sex scene, and then scenes later when they're having a shower, he's like, "By the way, you have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man," and he just goes, "Thanks." And it's like, why was this written?
Yeah, at least Mickey doesn't.
Why?
sneak in.
So this is somehow notches below that on the homoerotic and the latent homosexuality, but they're close.
They're friends, man.
Yeah, they're really close friends.
Oh,
They live together. There's
It's
there's
just
nothing wrong with.
it was normalizing platonic friendships 20 years ahead of the curve.
sure. This was "I Love You, Man" for the 90s.
Right, exactly. It was "I Love You, Man" for the Steven Seagal crowd.
I like that.
But it's genuinely, they care about each other, and I'm like, I'm into this. It's a really cool story, and they have it they pull off the Robin Hood thing, and then unfortunately, all of
Doesn't
them
matter.
trying to do it for end up dying in the crossfire anyway.
They don't get the lease either.
So it becomes a Robin Hood movie to a revenge movie.
But then it becomes right because then Marlboro becomes obsessed with they got to make it right. They're not gonna that's
The car's gone. The owner's gone. There's no reason to worry about them taking over the bottom at the airport. But
justice then because they gotta
fucking Tom Sizemore.
that was one of the few times that they actually vehemently disagree in the movie is when what's his face
Marlboro.
or no Harley wants to just flat out kill him and Marlboro's just no, it's not right. We got to make it right. Everything's got to balance out.
Well,
Then he ends up falling out a window anyway.
yeah.
Cool, balanced out. I didn't have to do anything. But yeah, I don't know. It's just
I don't think it's the smartest film ever, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted from this movie. It delivered on its promise. I thought, we're looking back 30 years later. Like you said, if this is up against more cerebral stuff like Dead Again, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna love it, but it didn't deserve to be crushed or ruin Mickey Rourke's career for a little while. I liked them in it, at least.
yeah. They were great. It was I enjoyed it.
It's actually a good popcorn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just to veg
and
out to.
And at the end of the summer, that's what you want.
You got motorcycle chases. You got, shootouts in a airplane graveyard. You've got, mysterious dudes in trench coats, and you've got a love triangle. And guys, just two good guys in a bad situation. And I'm like, that's really all you can ask for with the movie.
It's funny. There's a couple of those movies that we're going to talk about in the other movies released.
All right.
There's a motif.
Yeah, why don't we bring them up, see if any of them are better? I mean,
So
Are we rating? Are we doing?
Yeah, let's give it a quick rating.
I want to do C-.
I was gonna give it a B-.
I'm impressed that it says high as it would be for you, Corey.
Yeah, you were against doing this.
I liked it better than Air America. I'll give it that. That might be the worst
Okay.
movie
Oh,
watched on the podcast.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm gonna have to go with an A. Solid A. Just-
I'm going with the B plus. Because it's like a B movie.
It was a B movie.
Yeah.
Not enough Jerry Seinfeld though.
Oh my god, really?
Your spokes keep getting caught in my wings. What's going on? Throttle it harder.
Actually, a pretty good Seinfeld.
Thanks. What's the deal with this V8 engine? Anyway. So I talked about Showdown Little Tokyo already, which is fun. It's actually a movie that had a longer cut, but the studio cut it down to like 75 minutes with credits.
Really?
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's like as lean as it could get without sacrificing most of the plot.
Mm.
But it's
actually worth it.
Huh?
It's actually worth it.
It's a fun movie. I mean, it's one of the few movies where you get to see Brandon Lee outside of The Crow.
Sure.
So you get to see what his stardom would have been.
Mm.
And actually, him and Dolph have good chemistry.
Apparently.
Yeah. Another buddy movie that came out, which is actually buddies played by the same actor, is Double Impact. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Which is interesting. I just rewatched this the other day because I got the Blu-ray. It's a lot better than I remember. The action scenes are really well done. And Jean-Claude actually does a very good job of differentiating between the two twins.
I'll have to check it out. I do. He is my favorite of the '90s action stars. So.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, a couple of them, like Sudden Impact, right? No, Sudden Death.
Death.
Yeah, Sudden Death's my favorite one of his.
Yeah, Die Hard and Ice Rink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Great villain. But who's the
Yeah,
villain?
Powers of Boots.
Yeah, who's the villain in Double Impact?
It's actually the one from Bloodsport.
Okay.
I forget his name.
The
Asian bodybuilder. Yeah, the Asian bodybuilder is really good.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lewis plays his surrogate father.
Okay.
In the movie. But it's a fun movie. Body Parts came out this month, which is one of the few movies where Jeff Fahey, who's normally a supporting actor, gets a lead role. It's an interesting kind of Cronenbergian thriller. It doesn't exactly go where you think it's going to go. There's some really good action set pieces, especially when Jeff Fahey initially loses his arm and he gets a new one grafted onto it. But yeah, if you're into those type of movies, I would recommend that. Actually, a movie that I know you two have just recently seen, Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, I was excited to watch this. So we
very
ended up
charming.
watching this back when we were going to talk about The Hard Way. So we watched that then. We just finally watched The Hard Way. We did them in reverse.
Oh, okay.
So
you can give your thoughts on both. What did you think of Doc Hollywood? I thought it was a very charming little sleeper.
I think I like Doc Hollywood more, but I like them both, to be honest. I mean, I just like Michael J. Fox. I just think this plays on Michael J. Fox's charms better. It showcases what his talents are.
It is the exact same plot as Cars.
Yeah.
Cars stole the whole plot.
Yeah. I mean, his name's even Doc, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Paul Newman character's named Doc. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
what do you think, Jimmy?
I liked it. No, it took me a minute. Like I was just like trying to remember this whole time. I was like, when you said Michael J. Fox, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember.
Yeah. It's the one where his
Yeah.
car breaks down
Fish
south.
out of water.
He's going from New York to LA and he takes a wrong turn and ends up in Georgia.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
I know the
how the fuck is that
geography is
happen?
a little
I know
off.
exactly where he's going, but like he should have turned right to Tennessee when he doesn't notice the sun's not ahead of him. Like, how does he?
I mean, he's a superficial
I was gonna
doctor.
say, it's not like he's a brain surgeon. He's only a plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was all right. It was
Yeah.
It was cute.
You know what it reminded me of? This hasn't come out yet, but my cousin Vinny has like this small town humbleness that he ends up learning, and
Doesn't mean he's better, but I see.
yeah, I think it's the same kind of idea where it's like you city boys don't understand what it's like for
It's
us
the
down
city
here, but-
slickers versus the country bumpkins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine.
Life is
it's
a lot better when it's slower, tamer, and just a little more racist.
good. Jeez.
That plane don't
Georgia.
here no more.
Yeah.
Um,
But we did like The Hard Way as well. So
Okay.
it is a very good year for Michael J. Fox. He was real into it because of James Woods.
and,
Oh yeah.
and the year
James,
before we
James
talked
was
about-
like he was like
Yeah, I do think.
before we talked about Back to the Future Part 3, so he was on a roll around this time.
Yeah. I do think this is one of James Woods' better roles. He's at least when he was on top. He was at his best when he was playing a hard-nosed cop. So
Yes. Return to the Blue Lagoon,
oh boy.
which is
I
basically
saw this as a kid.
I did too. But this is like a tamer version of the original, which it's such a dumb plot. I wonder if you remember this. The two
Let me-
characters from the original, which I think is Brooke Shields and I forget who else.
Christopher.
The plot is it's like it's almost like Swept Away. They get stuck on an island together and they start to have these romantic feelings for one another.
But
But they leave.
oh, I thought you were gonna bring up the fact they're brother and sister.
Well, there's that. They leave. They have kids of their own, and those kids wash up on shore together in the sequel.
Yep.
It's
Double
like a
incest.
Gilligan's Island spinoff. It's Mila Jovovich, and I don't remember the actor,
Yeah, no idea.
but it's just as terrible as that sounds.
that. Of course,
Like, why would you need a sequel to that?
because there's a cult following.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Maybe.
A John Candy movie that I remember liking, but I haven't revisited any time recently. Delirious came out.
Yeah, I saw this a while back too.
I remember liking it. He plays a soap opera writer who either gets incapacitated or he goes into a coma. I forget which. He
He
gets knocked out at some point.
slips, I think, if I remember correctly, he slips or trips on the sidewalk as he's getting to his car and
Right.
hits his head on the sidewalk and wakes up in the hospital bed of his soap opera.
Right. He rhapsodizes that he's interacting with his characters that he's created in the soap opera. It's a clever concept. I think it's Tom Mankiewicz is the writer. And,
It reminds you a little bit of Pleasantville.
Yes,
It's a
yeah.
TV show.
right.
But it's John Candy at his best. too.
Yeah.
I do remember
I've never
a couple
seen
funny scenes where there's one character
Right.
who keeps coming in and just saying stage directions. And he's like, didn't I give this guy dialogue?
Yeah, it's good.
Pure Luck, which is talking about buddy movies. This is a weird combo. It's Martin Short and Danny Glover. It's a remake of a French movie, and basically this insurance adjuster hires Danny Glover to find his clumsy daughter, so he brings along Martin Short, who has equally bad luck, to help find her. Like they would find each other through kismet or some psychic connection. And it's just a lot of like really unfunny physical comedy where it's Murphy's Law. It's
Mhm.
honestly, Martin Short didn't have a lot of great starring vehicles outside of Inner Space for himself. so-
Or whenever he's with Steve Martin, really.
Right. A Coen Brothers movie that is a really good showbiz satire came out this month. Barton Fink.
Oh,
Very surreal. It's a really good movie.
You'd like Barton Fink.
Really?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite roles that they've ever given John Goodman. And the set and everything is very Kafka-esque. I think you'd like that.
There's a great visual with the fire.
I do like that.
Yes, very much so. It's weirdly it's claustrophobic, but it's darkly funny. It's everything the Coen brothers are kind of known for. They balance that off-kilter tone with comedy and drama and a little bit of gothic horror.
Yeah, and a little bit of some of these people are stupid, and how did they get jobs and how were they living?
Yeah,
Which they love doing. It's basically Barton Fink is having writer's block, and he's trying to write the next great screenplay. Right? I don't know if he was successful beforehand. I haven't seen it.
It was it's funny because Michael Lerner plays the studio head, and it's basically, you know, when somebody becomes like a hot commodity in Hollywood, he keeps saying, he's like, we want that Barton Fink feel. We want that feel. But then they keep giving him script notes and having him change everything.
Yeah.
So they want his name basically, but they don't really want his essence.
Yeah, it's good. I want to make one more note on that. It has one of my favorite John Mahoney performances.
Yes.
He's
the mentor character.
Actually playing Tennessee Williams, even though I don't know if like Tennessee Williams was even around in that year. And he's just like drunkenly wandering around trying to give advice. And then by the end, John Turturro realizes like, this isn't advice at all.
No.
Just random.
Yeah.
Which is
none of the tips that people give him are helpful at all.
Yeah.
I kind of actually watched.
Yeah. We'll have to get that and Delirious in soon.
Yeah. Dead Again, which we briefly touched on, which is Kenneth Branagh not doing a Shakespeare adaptation, which was rare back then. But it's actually an original screenplay by Scott Frank. I don't want to go too much into it because it's very labyrinthian, but it's a really great movie. Go in knowing as little as possible. It's a mystery. It's actually him and his then wife, Emma Thompson, and Robin Williams has a small cameo. But I don't want to give anything away. And then there was a sequel to a pretty prolific horror franchise that actually has a TV show coming on the air next month. Child's Play 3. I actually like Child's Play 3. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I like this setting in the military school. I think it's an interesting setting for Chucky to quote unquote play around in. They come up with some imaginative kills. Like at one point they're doing war games and he changes out the dummy rounds for live rounds. So a lot of kids get shot. It's got a really the climax. Climax almost feels like a Dario Argento film because of the lighting. They go into this roller coaster that goes indoors, and it's got a lot of magenta and purple lighting.
That's cool.
So it's got like this really Italian hard giallo kind of feel.
Yeah.
I like that each one of the, I mean, yes, they're slasher movies, but I like that each one of the Child's Play movies, since it's Don Mancini, I feel like he's trying to do something different with each one because he's been the writer of all of them so far.
Interesting.
But I actually like Child's Play 3.
Yeah. Didn't we just do Child's Play 2? I feel like that was 1990.
They might have fast tracked it, which is weird because there's a huge time jump between the second one and the third one, because the second one, I think he's still like, Andy's still about 9, 10. And in this one, he's obviously like 16 or 17 because he's at this military school.
That's okay.
I think Child's Play 3 is probably the one I've seen the most out of all the Child's Play.
Oh, you've seen it?
Oh yeah, I didn't know they
Child's
play.
fan.
I'm really not. But like on I guess on TV they played the censored version quite a bit, so that's how I saw it the most.
What was it, 7 minutes? Like what?
What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean it was all right. Again, not a fan of Chucky.
Is that because you're scared of dolls?
No, it was just when I was a kid. My first horror movie was The Leprechaun, so anything that was like small and creepy, and since I was a kid, anything that would match my height, I was just like,
this is good to know.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm bigger now. It doesn't faze me. It's just the memories were
Like if it's
traumatizing.
just out of your view, like it's out of the corner of your eye, it's a little
Oh
small.
no! It's not
Bite
just
your
out of my
ankle.
Were you
view.
scared of the micronauts when you were growing
When I
up?
was a kid. Imagine like something like
Yeah,
down your
I
eye.
get it. It's
Now,
like
now it's just like I'll kick it. I'll
that's
kick
why I was
it.
scared of cat's eye.
Speaking of which,
Scared of small soldiers.
yeah.
I love that movie. But anyway,
Uh,
That
We'll
movie
get
loves
there.
you.
We'll get there someday.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
So let's go into,
99.
That's gonna be in
it's
2028.
Jeff's time to shine.
Oh, is it time?
It's time.
oh,
All right, buddy. I don't know if you've seen this one, so bear with us. I tried to.
I just watched it so I can talk about it.
all right. Time for poster boy. We need a
Here
theme
we
for
go.
It'd
this.
be crazy if he knows what this is.
Oh my god.
Do you know what it is?
I feel like I might.
Oh,
Home on the range.
Don't.
yeah. Good point, Corey. I actually thought maybe you would think of Home Alone.
Actually, as I was rewatching it, I was thinking that.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is better,
You're better.
I'm sure it is.
and it's not hard to be better than Home Alone. Though I think that's a hidden gem.
Oh, Home on the Range is a hidden gem.
It's not as bad as people give it credit for. There are some good songs. The plot's very basic.
What's the worst Disney movie then?
Black Cauldron. It's just boring.
Okay.
Even that's not horrible. I don't think there's ever been a really bad Disney animated film. Even I don't like Brother Bear, but there's quality to that.
Dragon. is pretty
Good.
bad.
People like, yeah, I just think it's a ripoff.
You're a rip.
So
That's a Jeff.
I mean, it's Disney. What'd you expect? Disney
anyway.
rips off everything.
Okay. So the poster is it's obviously it's an animated film. It's a bunch of barnyard animals and an owl and a chicken and a collie and a horse and a cat and a cow and a
Another dog.
smaller dog, or maybe that's a rabbit. I don't know.
Oh, that's a
I was
rabbit.
gonna say, I can't even tell that.
And there's a window with a moon shining down on whoever the main character is of this.
It's E.T.
Skillfully blurred out
E.T. the animated movie.
over here. My first guess would be Rockadoodle.
Wow.
that's funny because that's what we were talking about. It is not.
We get these confused.
Here, I got
Rockadoodle
it.
was one of the most traumatizing films I ever saw.
Now we know not to use that when it comes up in April of 1992.
I could never, I've never been able to rewatch that movie because it just destroyed me.
Why?
Because like he fucking dies, and then for like 10,
Oh, spoiler alert! I haven't even seen it.
oh my god. Well, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
Well, no, he
All
doesn't.
the younger viewers
That was
who watch us are gonna be traumatized.
okay. All right, fine. Anyway, back to whatever we're on right now.
Right.
I have no fucking idea. It's a farm movie. I want to think this isn't the animated version of Animal Farm, is it?
No.
It's
Imagine.
the Orwell book come to life.
Here, I'll
Um,
give you. I'll
is,
give you. Oh yeah, you should.
was this Fievel? Was this like a Don Bluth era type thing?
Well, that's the thing.
That's why I got this
Rockadoodle.
confused with Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle is a Don Blue thing. I was looking it up. I finally found it. It's a Hyperion animation film. They're the ones that did the Brave Little Toaster. They basically did this in the Brave Little Toaster series.
I like Brave Little Toaster. Well done.
People's hearts left and right.
This does not break any hearts. This is just amusing.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Let me.
what would you call this before you know anything else about it?
Nighthawks. The bird
Yeah.
and
It's
It's-
the animated.
the fact that it's a bird that does stuff at night. I'm gonna okay. First, let me try to guess what the animal is.
Sure.
I think it's got to be either a dog or let's see what other things we find out. Like I want to say it's either like a sheepdog, maybe, or
I mean, but you already got two dogs in there.
I know.
Feel a
Well,
little redundant.
Don't leave him away. He's doing all right.
perhaps I don't know.
Hmm.
The way the coloring on it looks like it could be Winnie the Pooh, just cross, like Christopher Robin brings his stuffed animal to a farm and then
Yeah, why did he never do that? That would have been fun.
This ain't the Thousand Acre Wood.
No, it's
All
the
right.
all right. Okay, I
You want
all right.
to do a name, or do you want me to give you the quote?
Moonlighting.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, keep going.
All right.
All right, tagline: You'll laugh, you'll sing, you'll dance, you'll sit up and beg for more. Okay, so clearly a dog. Um,
you're gonna do the name first, right before you show the.
this isn't that one with Billy Joel as the
I
dog.
actually blanked out the name. Even in the subtitle, it looks like lines of cocaine down there.
Okay, good. What did you say, Jeff?
Feels like they what?
What
No,
did
I'm
you say?
saying
it was?
this wasn't the one with Billy Joel as the dog.
No, that's Oliver and Company, and that's Disney.
Oh.
That's 88, maybe. Maybe that's what's 88.
Does
Not
all
all
dogs go to heaven? One of those.
Mhm.
No, they're Don Bluth.
And we established before the podcast. Actually, we talked about
Jazz
Class
Pup.
88.
It's Jazz Pup.
I don't think you're going to get any
Dog.
further with this.
No, I'm really not. I'm just literally
So
stuff out
the
now.
next thing I think is that cocaine line. Oh, there you go.
The dog who gets no respect. Oh my God! It's the Rodney Dangerfield one that I can't remember the name of. I want to say it's like Banjo or something, but it's not.
It's a play on his name.
Rover Dangerfield.
You got it.
Hey, look at that! Oh,
Look at that. Look at the tie.
wow!
Oh.
Wow! Dangerfield is Rover, a big city hound who trades bright lights for barnyard laughs. Oh my God! I want to go
It's
watch.
basically Doc Hollywood, but with an animated dog version of Rodney
Yeah.
Dangerfield.
Yeah. Wait, there's no. Oh wait, there is a romance in this. I forgot.
Yeah, it's with that collie to his left.
You know what though? This poster makes it look like it's a biblical story because that looks like a manger,
Yeah.
right? And the Star of Bethlehem's above him.
Well, it's the moon.
Is this like some Christmas movie?
Yeah,
The Little Angel.
this is a VeggieTales movie.
I mean, I saw
Oh,
this
God, no,
as
like-
a child. I actually liked it. So I don't know if it's just nostalgia or not.
I think it's nostalgia.
Probably. But I liked Rodney's stand-up. I'd seen a little bit as a kid. So I'm like, oh, this is just an animated version of that.
Yeah.
Because he was doing
funny.
some of the same jokes.
I was gonna say he must have improvised some of those jokes because he's doing dog-related puns. Like at one point at the beginning when he's gambling, he's talking to Don Mace. He's like, "Hey, stick around. We'll play connect the dots." I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
I think I just liked his cadence as a kid.
You know what's great though? They must have this. I don't think that this era is where they recorded people doing their dialogue, but they get the Rodney mannerisms down perfectly. Like when he tugs on the on the tie or his eyes bulge.
Yeah.
They mimic him facially perfectly in this movie.
It's good they got him because if they were just animating that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I mean, Rodney Dangerfield was an animated character in real life.
there's some weirdly adult themes in this though, like the mob.
Yeah.
He was,
And
like,
his owner is a showgirl.
Yeah.
he was like a less neurotic Robin Williams.
Yeah, that's accurate. I feel like he wanted it to be a franchise.
Yeah.
He wanted to do kids entertainment between this and Ladybugs.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I always thought this was a Don Bluth movie because of the animation style.
Yeah. Well, everyone always thinks Brave Little Toaster is too.
Right.
Oh,
So-
because all of them looked alike. They were basically like trying to do their own thing, but like look like Disney, but not like Disney.
Yeah. And a lot of them were former Disney animators. I mean,
Yeah.
Don Bluth is one of the guys who did Black Cauldron, isn't he?
Oh, I don't remember.
I
should
don't
know
remember
that.
exactly his range, but he's a 70s, 80s guy, and then he
Yeah.
splits to go do Fievel.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a synonym.
mhm.
Woo.
So, yeah, I guess that's it. You did all right, though. You figured it out
Yay.
eventually. There's not much else you could do where you come up with another film based on that poster. So we weren't going to play it that way this time. So I guess we've come to the end. I didn't exactly put you guys on the spot. I kind of warned you. I was going to say, what's your favorite Mickey Rourke film or favorite Don Johnson film? And I figured we'd like look at this live.
Okay, I know.
What's your favorite Mickey Rourke film? We'll do him.
Johnny Handsome.
Ah, it's a good choice.
Don Johnson. Brawl in Cell Block 99.
That's a good choice too.
Although, if you want movies where he's more prominent,
Yeah.
probably Cold in July.
Yeah, I've heard that's good. That's with Dexter.
Yeah, Michael C. Hall.
All right.
I would go with Diner. It's very early Mickey Rourke. I like the whole
Oh,
movie, but
Not Diner.
yeah, he's not the star. He's just
Right.
in there with Daniel.
Diner's
Daniel
great.
Stern's, I think, my favorite part. But like Tim Daly, Paul Reiser, Mickey
Paul
Rourke.
Reiser's.
Is Kevin Bacon in that? Is he the fifth one?
Yes. he's
Yeah,
in it.
so that's a good movie.
Holy shit. He's in a lot of movies I didn't realize he was in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or didn't even remember. Holy shit.
All right. Favorite Mickey Rourke film? Probably this one.
Oh God.
Not just because it's one of the 3 things I've seen with him in it, but like it was. I will not shut up about how much I like this movie. And Don Johnson.
Tin Cup.
I've always wanted to see that.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot to Smash Bridges.
Yeah.
I really liked him in Knives Out.
Oh, that's a good choice.
It's a small,
Yeah.
but like Knives Out was a great movie.
I'm trying to think of Don Johnson stuff off the top of my head. Do you have a Mickey Rourke?
Oh, Sin City. Like
Yeah, that's why I didn't take it.
He was in A Boy.
that was the first thing I seen him in.
It was
Yes,
definitely
no,
the
Boy
first
and His
thing I saw.
Dog.
He was the boy. Oh my god!
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Which one?
Boy and His Dog.
That's a good one. I might have gone with that.
He was the boy.
Yeah, Harlan Ellison, right? Right.
Filmography. There we go. Oh, the hot spot. I forgot about the hot spot.
Never saw it.
He's good in that. Yeah, I think I'd go with the hot spot.
Okay.
I don't know if Jimmy's seen any of the other things other than like Knives Out. though.
Wait, what- Did you
I'll
pick
say
Rourke?
Django Unchained.
Yeah, do you remember him in Django
Yeah,
Unchained?
well, yes, I do.
He's a
Okay.
plantation owner.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Sorry, Tristan. What'd you pick for Rourke?
I went with Diner.
Diner. That's right.
Yeah. Because I think it's underrated for his acting career.
I forget he's.
Yeah, you always think of Paul Reiser.
I think it's Tim Daly, actually. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, I watched it because of Tim Daly was in it, and that's right after I watched it right after Sin City
And
came
Steve
out. And I was like,
Gutenberg.
oh, he looks so different, not knowing what happened.
Steve Gutenberg, too.
Oh, right, Gutenberg's good in that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that I think that actually rivals Big Chill.
that might be one of my favorite Barry Levinson movies.
Mhm.
Diner.
Yeah, he's good at that. Next month, we're going to be looking at another film that is very near and dear to Jeff's heart because he actually was in it when it was a stage version. It was a film from '91 that I believe was turned into a play, or was it a play first?
It was. I think it had like the Hairspray treatment, where I think it was a play, or no, it was a book, and then they turned it into a movie, and then they turned it into a musical, and I was in the musical at one point.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think.
yeah, in our hometown. But it's this movie called Dogfight, which I think will be very poignant because we're going to get to also look at the career of River Phoenix. Yeah, we'll talk all about River Phoenix's career. Is that we're almost lining up. This is coming at the end of September, and that will be in the middle of October. So we're by the end of 2021, we'll have lined up for the 30th anniversary of movies.
Right.
And we'll be able to have this every month as it coincides.
And that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Right.
So
We'll find out meeting with everybody else.
yeah, remember to rate, review, subscribe. I hope you've been enjoying our
Comment.
comment.
will
I see
comment.
more and more people liking our posts, at least on the blog. So if anyone wants to comment on them, let us know any other features you want to see. Like Jeff wants to do more content.
Let us know if you want merch.
Oh yeah, merch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you want to pay us, we'll start a
You
page.
get this this on a shirt, which no,
Just
you
a
did not want.
Jimmy's face on it.
Yeah, I didn't see what you did.
Well, get this on a shirt. I was like waving around like, no,
Jimmy
you do not
Mug.
want. Trust me.
A Jimmy mug. Does anyone
If you
want
like
that?
me,
Then they
Maybe
will
the
want my
Jeff-
face. You don't want my face.
if you demand that Jeff customizes backgrounds again,
You don't want my mug.
Yeah,
on
what
mug.
happened?
Jeff
Just
so
want custom
no, 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 no.
backgrounds. I can do that. But anyway,
All right. All right.
yeah, y'all.
See you next time.
Stay movie.